League, Season 4, Season 4, Season 4. Yeah, it's Phlow, let's go. Who's gon' flex, earn respect, who's the next? BDS, spitting dragon's breath straight from the chest. Setting off reps, taking out Reds. With 20-year vets, taking USL next. It's time to frag out, yeah, let's get it. Let the whole mag out, we getting sweaty. Pick your class, dog, you gotta stay ready. Infantry, medic, JT, engine, infiltrator, squad leader, can't forget heavy. The captain drafts a squad that's cracked, no capping. The match they snap and attack, no slacking. The map is Twin Peaks, usual occurrence. A7 dealers and D6 merchants. We on a mission to check who's king. We on a mission to get those rings. Hear them guns sing like la la la. Hear them guns sing like bra-ta-ta. Timer's getting short, it's time to abort. Who's gonna clutch? Who's gonna be the hero? Who's got the guts before the timer hits zero?
Salute to those who came and rose, conquered foes, another chapter closed. CTF, where legends grow, till the last breath these flags we hold.
CTF Draft League, Season 4, Season 4, Season 4.
See you looking at me, now go ahead and move that body.
Welcome everyone to the CTFDL Season 4 League Draft. My name is Romulocks, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all and to introduce the draft panel for tonight's show. For more information on the teams, match statistics, and how you can participate in the CTFDL in future seasons, we ask that you please visit ctfpl.net. Now, without further ado, let's bring in the members of the panel. We have Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
We have TheGreatChompy.
What up?
We have Phlow.
Bing bong.
And yours truly. In addition to the draft, we also have a lot more in store for listeners tonight, including a couple of interviews with CT and a to-be-determined USL player. I'm excited. But for now, I'm going to hand over the reins to Phlow for the CTFDL staff spotlight. Take it away, sir.
Everybody, so our admins this season, we got Soup, ZMN, Albert, and Wolven. ZMN's taking on a much larger role this season. He's going to be handling all the logistics, announcements, and he'll be contributing on the media front, I think. I think Albert's still doing some of that, still undecided. But, I mean, shout out to ZMN. He's arguably the biggest catalyst for CTF's player base growing, and even though he's a little questionable with his ZMN teams and low-key trolling everybody, I mean, make no mistake, he's a legend, and he's probably one of the better strategic players in the game. And I often lead offenses or shot call on defense, and when ZMN's leading, you just kind of stay quiet, let him hold it down. So yeah, he's one of the most valuable multi-classers in the league, and he's definitely going to be an asset to his team. So shout out to my boy Z, pure talent for life. And then next up we have Wolven. He's managing the referee team. So if you're interested in reffing, reach out to him on Discord. The rest this year we got Waylander, Abbott, Mixum, our user, DP, Designer, Captain Ats, Decker, Dinobot, and Attempt. And as a player, Wolven's like a top tier DM, arguably one of the best to ever play the position. So shout out to Wolven. And then we have Albert, who's been kind of, in the past, I believe, handling scheduling and media development. I think CMN was working with the schedule too this season. And he threw together a schedule after just getting 6 squads from last night. It looks pretty good. What else? Oh, yeah, so I guess it's Rom and Angelus, Flair, Perth, Mecca, Yosh, Jim, myself, and I'm guessing Rev will probably do some commentating too, so there'll be a lot of input from a lot of various players throughout the league with different levels of experience. And Albert, he's a top tier NG, and he's a tanking, hard-hitting, in-your-face infantry. Brings excellent comms and really good strategies, so Albert's a fucking beast. If you have to play against him, you'll know what I mean. Then we have Soup. I mean, Soup does a lot. He manages the league itself, the stats, the website, league Discord. Still salty he didn't let me join last season late, but I respect his commitment. As a player, he's a solid DM, really as solid as they come. He's a really strong medic, and I mean, you can't mention Soup without mentioning Axie because those two kind of work hand in hand. And really, Axie's the backbone of CTF. I mean, people like to give him a hard time and stuff, but like all his hard work behind the scenes is what makes all this shit possible. So you could easily consider him as the fifth admin, but I think he's much more than that. So show some love to Axie right now. People have been getting under his skin lately, whether intentional or not. So he's grinding for this league. So yeah, these four guys, they work together, they support each other, and they ensure the league's continued success. So massive respect to the season 4 staff. I fuck with these guys heavy, all of them. I want to give a shout out to Jouet, also called Jute. For building that mock draft tool, I feel like that was like really underutilized this time around. But it offers like a really good snapshot on the public opinion of draft rankings because everybody has their opinion who the consensus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is, but when you start to go look at what people actually put in their mock drafts, whether they're trolling or not, I don't know. Kind of get to see a different picture of what people's opinions are of certain players, and some of those opinions were the same as mine when I started looking at the mock drafts the first time around before they wiped it. I saw there's players that I ranked really high that people weren't really talking about that I noticed other people did too. So I think once you play against people and you realize you can just drop them, at the boxes or in the hallway and they can't really stay alive very long, it kind of changes your opinion based off whatever their fucking reputation is or their accolades in the past. So, another valuable data point I think for captains in the future will be those elo ratings. Like right now we're pulling everything out of tribal knowledge of who's good and not good. When you start having some data points, you can use the mock draft, you can use the elo ratings for league and public, and it'll probably a different picture and just kind of help some of the captains make some decisions. So, you go look and you start organizing it. I was organizing it by like ret damage and stuff like that, and you kind of see like some heavies fucking don't even hit a turret. You know what I mean? So, and some of these heavies are supposedly good. And I mean, good players can fade regardless of whatever their fucking accolades or past successes are. And top tier players, some of them need to be active to fire on all cylinders. And those boomer bust players like CT and guys like that, those guys can kind of make or break it for a team too. So I think the most impactful draft picks this season, I'll just finish with this, is going to be those underrated players, because ones outside the core of proven dominant players, like those kind of like fourth and fifth slots on offense and defense, those are the players that are going to give you the edge to win or lose, in my opinion. So, and just one last thing, like nobody get butthurt tonight. Like our panel tonight's here to share opinions. Some might be biased, and you might hear a few jabs. It's all good fun. It's fucking entertainment. Don't be a little bitch. And for the captains out there, take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Trust your co-captains, review the data, and make your own decisions based on whatever gives your team the best shot at winning. Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. I felt like there were some jabs from you in there. I don't know anything about this league or the players in it, so I couldn't tell who they were at. Especially that heavy comment. That sounds pretty specific, whoever's out there.
No, it wasn't. No, it's legitimately, I just like started looking through it and like, I don't know, the guy plays O Heavy for like 11 games or something and has like, I don't know. I just noticed a bunch of little trends.
Jesus,
gameplay. That's all.
This guy comes out with shade early. But we're gonna be talking to some players in CTFDL Season 4, getting some of their thoughts about the upcoming season and playing Draft League in particular. We do have a couple of interviews to start us out. First up, I think we're going to who are we talking to? Is it Fausto?
Let's start with Mercy.
Mercy, you here?
Yeah, man.
Welcome, Mercy. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Phlow, go ahead.
Mercy's kind of perfect because I've played against Mercy a few times, with him and against him, and he's doing pretty good. So, I mean, Mercy, you're kind of like a proven USL player, and the early feedback I've seen on you has been pretty positive. Well, it is for me, anyways. How do you feel like you're adjusting to playing CTF?
Pretty good. I still need to learn all my buy macros and stuff, but I know how to warp to people and kill people. That's about it. Drain people.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna try to learn a little bit more, but
So you don't have macros?
I have a few macros, but I don't have like
Yeah.
armor macros or anything like that. So yeah, I need to get organized.
Gotcha.
So for
Gotcha,
the
gotcha.
uninitiated, you're saying macros are a pretty vital part of this of CTF play.
Yeah,
It's kind of
vital.
step one. You have buy macros though, right?
Yeah, I buy macros.
Yeah. I mean, okay, yeah. I was gonna say, would have noticed if you didn't. Do you think that all these USL players coming over are going to transition over to CTF and find any success, or do you think they're just going to get beat up and quit?
A few of them are going to find success. I've seen G up late at night fighting Chompy. I think he's going to do pretty good.
Yeah, I've noticed. I noticed Split. Split seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, Bax is doing pretty good. I mean, Eric's kind of proven that he can transition over. I don't know if we count
Eric-
Noskeeper. Was Nos original CTF or was he?
I think he was USL. I don't think he played
Yeah.
CTFL.
I'd imagine he was USL.
Yeah.
He was in USL early.
Yeah.
I think you got. I mean, you already got guys like Tactical and Mecha as well. And I
Yeah.
think there's a general trend that being successful in one league has a high correlation with being successful in the other. So talented players in the USL, I think, should be a high commodity generally for CTF teams to acquire, because I think they'll be able to learn their roles and play them really quickly, particularly if they're good players in USL. But I think most of the USL good players are also playing in both leagues already. So
Yeah, it should be a really interesting season, honestly, because we've never had this many people come over for USL, and a lot of them are good players in USL, so it'll be interesting for sure. Is there anybody, Mercy, you want to give a shout out to in CTF that's helped you out so far since you've started playing in the zone?
I'd say Silly and Greed, since I played one season and they both kind of taught me a little bit.
All right, respect.
They're probably my most respected people here.
what do you play right
Yes.
now, Mercy? What roles are you finding easy in terms of the transition from USL over to CTF?
Infantry mostly. It's probably the easiest. The easiest is to learn in general, is kill stuff.
Pretty easy
For
mission.
me, I recommend players start, like some people say you should start with heavy. I think you should start with infantry, because infantry, you're going to get the mechanics down way faster. Once you start playing heavy, you can kind of get those mechanics down pretty quick. You're only pushing a few buttons. If you start with a class like infantry, the learning curve's big, but you're gonna keep progressing like every time you play it. So, anyway, shout out to Silly and Greed for doing their thing. All right, thanks, Mercy. We could probably
no
bring in
problem.
Cara Tank.
Yeah, absolutely. Cara Tank, you there? We're missing a tank.
I can see him
That
in the
seems-
chat.
Oh, hold
concerning.
on. It looks like somebody server muted him. Let me make sure he has the roles.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, what's
There you
going on?
Hey,
Cara
what's up?
Tank. Justice
Thanks.
for Cara. All right, so you were passed over for the captain spot. Is this the first time you've applied for captain, or have you applied every season?
To be quite frank, this is like the first serious time I was willing to really take on a role to lead a team without capping on people or trying to troll. I was in private discussion with Fizz, and we already developed a really good strategic plan to kind of promote the brand that we were trying to get going. But fortunately, it's my understanding that a co-captain was found, and
Yep.
yeah, to answer your question, that this was like my first real time.
Okay, so why do you think? Because you're kind of like the same thing happened to Mites last season. So why do you think you were passed up when there were 6 captains chosen?
Yeah, spill
What do
the
you think
tea.
the reasoning is behind it?
Well, I mean, let's be quite frank. I'm not the nicest person in the league. I make fun of a lot of people, and I hope no one takes it personal. It's always fun to get, it's always in good nature. I don't mean to harm anyone's feelings. I know Exodus has kind of temporarily banned me for 24 hours, for example. I know me and Matt have gone head to head. I know Gun Girl, it's my understanding she quit because of me. But at the end of the day, the times I did get mad, it was because I wanted to win, and it was season 1. And it was my first season back. But in my last season with Albert, I was half joking with him, and I said, let's do a contract and let's kind of figure something out for the betterment of the team. And I stuck with that contract. Albert was a phenomenal leader, and we almost won the championship. So,
right.
if I can talk to Gun Girl again, I would apologize for sure.
So bans and trash talking and making people quit the game. You're basically the backs of CTF, is what you're really saying.
No, I'm not. Listen, wait. Let me say myself. When I do this, it's me reconnecting with the 12-year-old in me. I mean, I used to be a dickhead back in the day. I see a lot of serious cases in my professional career. So
you have
this is my
PTSD,
perspective.
but instead of like having like some sort of irrational fear, you're just like an irrational dick in this game.
Yeah, I was.
Honestly, though, like my perspective on CT is like he's one of those people that in chat and text, he's a total fucking dickhead. But then when you get him on Discord right now, I mean, he's like pretty much reflecting on the shit he did, and like he seems like a pretty decent dude. I think.
Oh, I can certainly appreciate it.
Infantry chat.
Infantry promotes a certain mentality and attitude, and I appreciate Cara Tank for stepping up and admitting he has that attitude in spades. And if you could back it up in skill, dude, we got guys in USL that are exactly like that. I mean, Colossal is probably the first name that comes to my mind. That dude is mega talented with a mega mouth. So
yeah.
All right. So next question, Cara. Do you think you would have made a good captain, and why?
I think so. I think, to be fair, I think a lot of people respect my game. I think a lot of people know me on a personal level. I have shared squads with some folks already for 3 seasons, and they know when it's come practice time, I really try to be supportive, especially as of last season. I think Jaguar has really stepped up his game. I think Viz has really stepped up his game, not because of me or because of my presence, but just because, I'm there. I'm pretty senior when it comes to the league. I don't have any championships per se, but my fighting skill is pretty damn raw. And, Angelus always kind of half jokes like about my fighting skill, in terms of being really aggressive, but I really take pride in that. And there's not a lot of infantries that can have that sort of grit on the playing field. They can be aggressive, but they have to kind of go passive once they hit the boxes, and that's fine. There's a role for everything, but yeah, I think I would have been a great captain. I think I would have been able to show a lot of good leadership skills. I think, I fuck around with Angelus a lot, but he really does private message me and kind of gives me good guidance and good pointers. And I think if I would have taken on that role, he would have done that, or I would have reached out for sure. But yeah, I think I would have had a good time, and the people who would have been on my team, they would have definitely had a good time.
Shout out to Angelus. Shout out to Albert.
Sure.
So, is there anything you'd like to say, I guess, to the admin? I mean, for future captain consideration, because I don't know. I think that you could have been a captain. Just the issue is some of the relationships you have in game. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think this right here will probably speak a little bit to your personality and kind of humanize you a bit. So, is there anything you want to say to them?
Well, I want to apologize to the Galaxies of CTF. I want to apologize to the Mechas and just the people that I really hurt, like Rue. And whoever is the commissioner next league or the admin, just know that I'm not going to stop fucking around. That's why I play this fucking game. I'm going to talk shit if you talk shit to me, but I'll be more controlled and more regulated. But yeah, to the admin next year or next season, let me fucking run a team. I'll tone it down. As long as players are going to be loyal and come to practice, they're not going to work harder than me. I'm going to definitely show up. So just thanks for having me today, and shout out to you.
In worst case scenario, you can keep running into my MG streams with the boxes if you want. If you don't get to run a squad.
Thanks, man, and shout out to USL, man. You guys are great.
Thanks, absolutely.
Right, thanks, CT.
All right, well, let's move into talking about some squads. I think we're gonna bring in Joe and Chompy for this section a little more because I don't know anything about the squads. So I'm going to present them here in alphabetical order, real quick. We'll just very quickly go around the horn, kind of talk about what we can expect from these captains and what kind of team that they're going to build based on who are the captains and co-captains right now.
Can everybody see the screen right now? Just want to make sure it's not blacked out again.
I think so. I'm still on the draft order.
Okay.
If you're on the draft.
Yep.
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 Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Rom.
Absolutely. If you wanted to navigate to ctfpl.net, this would be an opportune time to do that. Just to, throw in a little plug for the website. First up, we have. I'll let him type it in like a plebeian. All right, there we go. So first up, we have Big Timers. Your captain for Big Timers is DP. Your co-captains are Bowen and Spark. Let's bring in Joe. Take it away, brother.
Yeah, DP and Spark are longtime veterans of CTF. Going back to at least season 2, maybe season 1 for DP. I'm not exactly sure on Spark, but both of them have been around for a while. DP, I think, mostly known for OINF and squad leader, though he's played around a few other classes. Spark, predominantly a D heavy, almost entirely a D heavy in his SOE time, but picked up O heavy last season in draft L3. Was the starting O heavy on the championship team. Um, just a natural at it. Spark, similar to the way he uses RPG as demo in USL. Excellent aim, really smart guy, good positioning, great person to be around, excellent attitude. DP also just a very positive person, friends with everyone, um, just a good person known around the league. I think the issue with this team is just skill level wise, their captains a little bit lower than the other 5 teams, unfortunately. So they're going to need to make that up in the draft. And with leadership, I'm not familiar with Bowen's experience in CTF, but most of the other USLer counterpart co-captains with him have some experience here. Mountain, Mecha, Yosh, Tactical, they've all gotten their feet wet here, and some of them have like really excelled, like Tactical. So I think this is going to be a bit of an uphill climb, but I expect it to be a very positive environment. They'll be good to their players, and hopefully they have a good time and exceed expectations as I think the underdog of the 6 captain units.
Yeah, well, I can tell you from USL that Bowen, his strength is organization, and DP, his strength is spec info. I'm just joking, DP. Let's move on to Chompy. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree with what Joe's saying. They start off a little bit of a disadvantage just compared to the other teams. There's some really stacked carries on some of the other team captains, but who knows? The way they draft, and especially in this league, your late drafts make all the difference. So your 7th, your 8th, your 9th picks may end up being starters. So anything can happen.
Absolutely. Phlow, any comments about this one?
I'm not going to repeat anything they said. I will say that Spark is a really fucking solid D heavy. Like he puts in work. He's usually ranked 1 when he's playing in the game. So, yeah, I think Spark's a really good captain when it comes to skill wise. Like Bowen and DP, they're definitely at a bit of a disadvantage at the start, but I mean, there's going to be some fuck ups in this draft that they can capitalize on. So I hope they do.
Well, let me ask you guys collectively, the 3 of you, if there's one role that these guys want to draft for first, what role do you think that is?
I think. Go ahead. Okay, I think if I was them, I'd be trying to get firepower. Like, I heard that they might be going for BT. Because I mean their team name is Big Timers, but I heard that's who they're going to take. I think I would probably try to get some firepower and lack on the supports a little bit. At least if you have guys that can fight, you can make things happen. If you get supports and you don't have fighters, you're kind of cooked.
Yeah, I mean DP and Bowen, or DP is going to be leading probably one side of maybe the offense. Maybe you've got Spark leading on the defense where they pick up a leader. But they need fighters. I know DP and Bowen, I think, are both infantry, or they'll both play infantry. But if they could add someone like Smoka, I mean, you just got to imagine your defense is going to be up against in one fight Iron and Revenge as infantry on the offense. So you need some combat power to be able to fight them.
Yeah, I was going to say something very similar. I'm almost always a proponent of drafting fighters first. I think infantries are the backbone of CTF play. There are a few exceptions. If Hearthbull was in the pool, his medic can hard carry and change games. CMN's engineer very similar, but without those guys in the pool and with a lot of parity in some of the top supports. I would also be targeting fighters first. I know Smoka is almost definitely going to be the first pick, but with him gone, guys like Waylander, Baal, um, Big Timer can play infantry in addition to support. Exodus. Those are the kind of
Scarface, Nos.
yeah, those are the kind of premier fighters that teams will be looking at in the first or second round, and I think grabbing 2 fighters like that in the first 2 rounds would set them up well.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask us to step it up just a little bit in terms of timing. We need to go a little bit faster. We're going to try to hit this going into the draft right at 9:15. So next up, we have Goliath. Your captain on that team is the Mountain. Co-captains are Cerrito and Tactical. Let's go to Joe again. Break it down.
Oh yeah, it's a really well balanced team. All 3 of those guys have come on really strong in CTF. Tactical, one of the best D heavies. Cerrito, excellent OINF and DINF, but can also play supports. And Mountain, really solid OINF DINF, who can also play some SL and med. So team's really well rounded. Really good fighters. Probably the probably the second or third strongest team, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think, Mountain and Tactical are USL juggernauts, so they're going to be very familiar with communication and working together as a team. I have them in second in my power rankings as well, just as a starting point. And then you got Cerrito as well. And Mountain can play every class but engineer, I believe. Cerrito can move around. You'll see Tactical probably just anchor the defense, which will be really good against teams like Eric's team. So they've got a lot of flexibility. They're not going to be too restricted in their draft choices because of that flexibility. If they do want to pick up some supports, Mountain will just swap into infantry, for example.
Phlow, any other comments?
No, I think Mountains keeps getting better. He's going to be a top tier inf soon enough if he isn't already. And yeah, Tactical, top tier inf D heavy, and Cerrito multi-class. So yeah, I'm going to go right into who I think they should pick next just to save time. If I was them, I would probably grab one more person to solidify that defense or an engineer, and then they'll have plenty of picks for offense. That's what I would do.
With the flexibility, I mean, I'd almost expect them to basically take best available player. I think that's the advantage of flexibility.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on next into Keck. Funny name. Enjoy it. Your captain is Galaxy. Co-captains are Trooper and Yosh. Joe?
Yeah, Galaxy is an excellent infantry, solid switching classes, one of the most hot swapping players in the league in terms of switching between JT heavy, infil, and infantry on offense. Yosh is a really solid infant heavy who's been playing CTF for probably 6+ months now. And Trooper is like one of probably a legend in CTF history. I believe known for his infantry and foot JT back in the day. Time on Shadow Syndicate and some other top squads. I know him and Galaxy have kept in touch and played other games over the years, but he hasn't been back in a while. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly he unrusts. Some players come back and they have it right away. Others take a little bit of time. I would expect he's more in the former camp. He sounds like the type of cerebral, hardworking player that will be able to pick things up fast. So I think this is a mid-tier squad. I'd probably rank them around 3rd or 4th in the power rankings.
Okay.
But they should be competitive.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think Galaxy and Yosh do prefer offense, but we'll see. Maybe they'll split up. I think Galaxy is a multi-classer, but I think he's best on infantry, and I think you'll need him there to contest some of the other really good infantries. I don't know much about Trooper, but yeah, I have them ranked kind of as a 3-way tie for the 3rd place, right behind Mountain and Eric's teams.
I think they'll probably be middle to maybe 5th. I think I've them 4th or 5th, somewhere in there. Like it all depends on Trooper really, because like your first, your co-captain picks are essentially your 1 and 2 picks. So I would have probably just tried to pick Trooper up, grab Yosh and try to get somebody a little more proven, a little less risky. But I mean, Galaxy's an excellent DM. That's all I got to say.
Who do you take first?
Honestly, best available player for these guys. They just need to pick good players. They're going to have to draft better. They're kind of in a similar situation as Bow and DP and Spark. They're a little better off with the Ocean Galaxy, but yeah, they need firepower again.
I like maybe greed, like a carry DM for them.
Just going to pull up all the picks.
Yeah, I'm mostly of the best available player variety. In my mind, there's a tier 1 in available players in Smoka, and then tier 2 could be 10 players deep. Like I said before, Waylander, Baal, Dilatory, Axidus, Big Timer, Chucky. Those are the guys you're talking about. Nas, Scarface, Shadow, Jackie, CT, Greed, or some other guys in that mix too. So it should be a lot of really strong players in the first 2 rounds. And I don't think there's good arguments for all of them. So I don't have like a firm preference on who I would say.
Yeah, so it sounds like
without knowing without going through the draft order first, it's kind of hard to say who to pick. We'll be able to do that during the draft, though.
absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the next one. Then we got Pure Talent. Captain there is ZMN. Co-captains are Colossal and RR User. Joe?
Yeah, it sounds like me and Chompy from his previous comment have very similar power rankings, with this being one of the teams that I would have tied in that 3rd to 5th range as well. ZMN, one of the most flexible players in the league in terms of being able to play every class. Excellent on coordination and leadership. And I think the thing I've always said that is underrated, his engineer hard carries games. Like, it's not just a support engineer. It's not just going through the motions and stabilizing. His fighting is unbelievably good. He was second MVP on the championship team last season, in my opinion, behind Sav. He's excellent. RR's solid O and DM, really good on comms, very talkative. And Sabotage, similar to Yosh, Mecha, Mountain, solid infant heavy, who can slot in at a bunch of different positions. So I think this team is solid. They're not the favorites, but they should have a fighting chance.
Let me interject here. We just got some breaking news from ZMN, actually, that Sabotage replaced Colossal as a co-captain on that team. So Colossal out, Sabo in. Does that change anything for you, Chompy?
Colossal's a stronger fighter for sure. He's still going to be available, from what I understand, as a player to be drafted. But that is a slight nerf to them. I think you're going to have ZMN lead the defense. You're going to have RR lead the offense as infantry. They've got everything they need. They can pretty much pick best available player.
Phlow?
I think it's really a big change. Sabo and Colossal. I think the team still kind of ranks where.
I'm getting some chop from Colossal. Is anybody else?
From Phlow, yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, from Phlow. Apologies. Okay. Well, we will move on then to the next team. Well, let's see. We didn't talk about. I'm sorry, Pure Talent. Who do you draft first?
They're flexible. ZMN can flex to any class, so they can pick best available. RR is going to lead the offense. They don't need anyone vocal, so sometimes that'll make a difference. They can pick quiet people that want to listen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm generally a proponent of fighters first. And with ZMN, engineer, and possibly even being able to flex to medic and JT, this team more than anyone is fighters first, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just best fighter on the board, and that's definitely how RR likes building his team. So if he has any say in the war room, that's what they'll be doing.
Okay. Let's go to our 5th squad in alphabetical order. Take your beating. Captain there is Eric, a guy USL knows very well. Co-captain Iron and Revenge.
Yeah, this is a devastating infantry stack right here. Eric said last night, I think publicly, that he plans on anchoring the defense and making the calls there, and then he's going to have Iron and Rev on offense. If they add someone like Smoka to that stack, it's almost unstoppable. Yeah, I have them number 1 in my power rankings. They have a good start.
Very interesting. Joe?
Very similar. It's between this team and Mountain's team for the top 2 spots for me. Iron is either the best or second best fighter in the entire draft, in the entire player pool, and with Smoka being the second best. Like I said, I think Smoka's tier 1 in the draft pool for available players, so I think they're definitely taking him. It would be shocking if they didn't. And Eric seems like he's coming up as a solid call. It definitely seems like a good role for him. Seems to be taking to it well, and Eric has a lot of leadership experience. So I think this is definitely the favorite or tied for the favorites of these 6 teams. And unless there's a shocking first round trade like we had last season, I'd be very surprised to not see Smoka on their team when the night is done.
Interesting. Phlow, you back on voice?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, like I don't know. You can't really ask for a better 1-2 as a USL captain in the league. So, I mean, the only way they can mess this up is draft really bad. They should have a shot just with those two right off the bat. Like Revenge is, a top O inf in the game. There's not too many people that can fight and continuously keep pressure like he does. And Iron is, in my opinion, just as good as Smoka, maybe better at fighting, but not as much comms and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know for who they should take. I mean, as long as they draft half decent, they're gonna have a good team.
I'm hearing that the stream is down. It is frozen currently. It sounds like Phlow. While you take care of that,
Yeah.
Joe and Chompy, who do you draft first if you're these guys?
Yeah, if they have the first pick, was what I'm reading in chat right now, I don't think there's going to be any question. It's going to be Smoka. They can throw him on offense as well, and that means any defense has to contend with Iron, Rev, and Smoka coming down the hallway. I mean, it almost doesn't matter what heavy you put behind them at that point. Backs could do it, which would be a hilarious combo.
All right, well, let's move on now to the final and 6th team in the league this season. It'll be Wuhan Clan. Captain is Worth, and co-captains are Decker and Mecca. What you think, guys?
I think this is another team in that 3 to 5 range. They're solid. Worth is a great fighter. I know he hasn't been active recently up until 4 or 5 days ago, but it seems like since then he's been on for almost every mix. He's shown the ability to unrust fast in the past. Can play O and D inf. Really excels as an aggro D inf. I think that's his bread and butter. He'll be excellent at that. Mecca, solid, heavy infantry, flexible guy. Loves playing some foot JT too. So slots in well there. Also has some leadership experience both with Pizza Rats in DL and in USL as captain plenty of times. And Decker is just steady Eddie engineer. He's great, very reliable, can play some SL too. I think he played SL last season while Infinite played SL for his squad. So this team is really solid. They'll have a fighting chance. They're at a little bit of a disadvantage versus the Iron Revenge stack and the Mountain Tactical Cerrito stack, but they should be right in this, and with a good draft, they can definitely compete.
Chompy?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, one unique thing about this team, I think if you look at all the captains list, all 3 of these guys are very comfortable talking and leading during the matches, whereas I think a lot of the other teams, they have like 2 or 1. So that's an advantage to them. Another advantage is, Mecca's one of the foot JT spammers right now, and I think that's meta. It's very strong on some bases. On offense or defense. So you can definitely use that to your advantage. And Decker, of course, can flex into a lot of positions. So that's going to help their draft strategy.
Phlow, any comments on that?
Yeah, like Worth, I don't think he's even hit his ceiling yet, and he's already kind of tearing it up in mixes and OBDs and stuff. And I know he's even better than that because I played with him before. Decker, great engineer, good comms, and he can SL pretty well. And Mecca, I think he's JT Inf and he just gives you options, and he's just so good in USL and just like such a good infantry mind that, I mean, sometimes not the best fighter because he doesn't play over here all the time, but like he can tear shit up, especially if he starts playing a lot.
All right, and you're drafting first. Who does Wuhan Clan take?
I don't know.
I'm not sure what position they're drafting, but it's between like Waylander, Baal, Ron, Exodus, Nas.
I mean, actually, you know what? It's a pretty obvious choice. It's got to be True Rider.
No, they'll need to stay on infantry longer than most. With they basically, Worth is the only infantry of those 3, so yeah, they'll be having to stock up on
I don't know.
fighters.
I don't think you can go wrong with either True Red or Half Cut, honestly.
Okay. All right. Well, moving in, let's talk about the draft. Let's get to it. Talk about some rules for the draft. The season 4 draft is serpentine, which some people erroneously call a snake draft. It's not that those people are wrong so much as I'm just better than them. And if you call it serpentine, you can be too. But a serpentine draft works this way. There are 6 teams participating in CTFDL Season 4. The order of those 6 teams has been completely randomized, and each team is assigned a number, 1 through 6. The team with the first pick drafts first, and the order continues in a straight line until the 6th squad has picked. But in the second round of drafting, the order will be reversed, with the team that picked last in the first round then picking first. Each subsequent round will reverse the pick order, creating this serpentine effect, or snake effect if you're a plebeian. This version of the draft selection, just in case you're interested, helps create a sense of fairness in that it doesn't overly favor teams who luck into the first draft slot, and it encourages strategic thinking with the changing draft order. Also, it doesn't hurt that serpentine drafts are the most widely used format in fantasy leagues worldwide. I have been honored to be given the privilege of announcing the CTFDL Season 4 draft order. So without further ado, the first pick in the draft for Season 4 goes to Take Your Beatin'. Congrats on the first pick, gentlemen. Number 2 draft pick, Big Timers. The 3rd draft pick, Wuhan Clan. The 4th draft pick, Goliath. The 5th draft pick, Pure Talent. And the 6th and final draft pick and first in round 2 will be Keck.
All right, the first pick is in. Yeah. Eric takes J.
As predicted.
As predicted.
A brutal luck for the other teams because you didn't want to see J stacked on top.
Yeah, no surprise.
Yeah, I can't believe that was a randomized Eric. I was like, well, I wonder if Eric gets it. So DPs, this is an interesting one. So are they going to take Big Timer?
I think the 2 most likely candidates here, based on their Green Beret experience, and
They took ball.
I was gonna say Ball and Big Timer.
So each team has 2 minutes to pick, but it seems like we're getting these picks quick. People have been thinking about this for a second. It looks like
Yeah,
DP
they've got their list for the first few rounds.
So Eric took J. DP takes Bale. I think it's Bale.
Bale, yeah, it's Bale. Yeah, I always say Ball.
So next we've got
Bale's a good pick for them. That's probably who I would have picked for them. Worth takes Axie.
Worth takes Axidus.
Yeah, probably the best SC AC heavy in the game right now. So obviously huge.
Next up is
he's a game changer.
Goliath pick here. Who they taking?
Mountain. Who's it gonna be?
I think Waylander will be a really good pick here.
Scarface.
Yeah, I expected Scarface in the top 2 rounds, but 4 overall, good for him.
Yeah, wow. I honestly didn't expect him at 4, but good for Scarface.
Next up is,
like I said, I think there's like 10 guys that are very similar ranked in this tier, so it could go in a lot of different directions.
Pure Talent up next. We'll see who takes the 5th pick. Season 4 draft.
He's a premier fighter, and I don't know if there's any dueling in this league, but obviously one of the best duelers, period.
Nas is definitely in play here. They have some good leaders on this team, so that could help out with Nas's rawness to take advantage of his elite fighting ability. Waylander would be a solid choice here. Big Timer, obviously. I'm not sure where Chucky goes based on his inactivity, but if Chucky's active, Chucky is live to be picked at any point.
Chucky's great for a change of pace if your offense is fucking failing. Like he's nice to have in your back pocket, or just run him as your offense.
Flo, can you scroll back down there on your end?
It looks like from game chat that RR was expecting Scarface there.
In the list, I meant.
Yeah.
In the selected players list.
Yeah, RR is having a breakdown in chat right now.
Okay.
Pure Talent's draft board is in shambles.
Well, hopefully he didn't let that information leak. Maybe it got around. Some espionage in the infantry community wouldn't be the first time.
You only have 2 minutes to make this pick, and if you don't make the pick, it moves on. You lose the pick.
Well, that should not be how it worked.
They-
It should really just auto draft the top most available.
Well,
but-
that's what Mecca and I said, but ZMN made the rules, so you can blame him.
10 seconds left. 10 seconds left and counting.
I would think he
six.
would take Waylander, but maybe not.
Greed.
Yeah, there's
It's
Greed.
Sword
Yeah,
Rage.
Premier Fighter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
Greed
In that
similar
tier.
to Worth is a stalwart fighter for many seasons in CTF. Not super active lately, but if he's going to be active, he definitely is in the conversation for this round. So that's not a bad pick.
So you
but
still got
he
Big
needs to be
Timer
active.
out there. You got Big Timer. You got Verb. No top NGs taken yet.
And so this is going to be the turn, right, as we call it. So they're going to get 2 picks back to back. This is Galaxy's team, which is the advantage of being at the start or the end of a snake draft, is you can combo
Yep.
2 your
Yeah,
picks
six
together
six
each
is
one.
not a bad spot. I'd rather be 6 than 4.
I like 5. I think 5 is a good spot. 6 is nice because you do get double back to back. You really can make a team on that first draft slot.
Exactly.
I'm strongly expecting Nas here. Nas has the connection with Yosh from USL. I think Nas and maybe Waylander or Ron are probably the pick here.
Yeah, Nas, Way, BT.
Why don't you take both?
CT, Jackie as well.
Well, I think getting a mix of a really strong fighter and somebody with the support class versatility makes sense. Kind of balance things out. Especially it's going to be 10 picks till they pick again after these two. So I think Nas in either Way or BT is my guess, and that's what I do too.
Tony Montana.
Tony Montana.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So we
Right,
didn't
a
discuss
returning
Tony.
player.
Tony is, in my opinion, the second best SL and the second best engineer in CTFDL history. I also think he's the type of guy that is going to unrust like that. He already looks really strong on SL. I think they could have waited a little longer and still gotten him, so maybe a little bit of a reach here. But if he comes back into form, he's excellent. The question is SL that big of an impact here?
Yeah, put a pin in
So I
that.
think-
And not to just in terms of Tony Montana, put a pin in that. Just like that may come into play later in the draft. You'd be saying that exactly what you said, that we should have taken that one later. They might lose somebody.
Yeah, or maybe they take Tony Montana and then they take another engineer, and then now you have 2 of the best engineers off the table, and Tony
Metal.
plays SL, right?
Metal is their next pick.
Okay.
What do you guys think about
he can flex.
the duo there, Tony
Flex.
Montana and Metal?
I mean, that's a lot of flexibility, right? I'm guessing they'll have Metal.
Yeah, multi-classing.
Metal's a versatile player, solid infantry on both sides, can play some supports as well. Talkative on comms, but I think this is a little bit of a reach too. I will say, in talking to Galaxy, he's very much about building a squad with good vibes, positivity. Everybody's having a fun time. So his draft priorities may be a little bit different than us, who are a little more try hard talking about this. So that may go into it, but we may just be wrong in our evaluation. We've seen people surprise in the past.
Lost the screen there. Phlow. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
All right.
CT was picked by ZMN.
CT off the board, number 8.
ZMN is always the type of person to see the best in someone. So nothing is really surprising here. There are guys I would be taking, like Waylander, Ron, and Nas, all falling this far. I think some of the other captains are really happy. And wow, Ghost Bomber to the mountain.
Ghost Bomber, number 9. Damn.
Some of the guys you guys were saying some first rounders that are very much still available. I mean, everybody mentioned Waylander, still up there.
Yeah, this draft board's definitely different than mine would be. Ghost Bomber was an OIMP on the championship team last year, playing with Sav and Smoka, which is worth mentioning. But he's talkative. He's a smart player. Really solid. And there goes
Ron. Your team.
There's Ron. So I'm thinking the next pick here is probably going to, I would say, Waylander or Mixum. Mike. Oh,
Dilatory.
Yep.
Oh, that's
probably
Dilla?
the best med available in the draft. So
yeah,
no choice.
I thought Dilla was a coke. Oh yeah, he wasn't a coke cap.
Depends if Way plays med.
Dilla and Baal, both guys with the Green Berets background, so not surprised to see DP taking them, but really solid picks in their own right too.
Eric gets 2 picks here. He's already got the
It's
dominant
Waylander.
infantry.
Waylander.
It's got to be not.
If it's,
It's got to be not.
Waylander, and that team's already.
Oh, I
Can we
mean,
have a redo?
Nod's keeping place with Eric almost every season in USL too, so it
Yep.
just makes sense. Yep, there he
Yeah,
is.
There you
Not-
go.
Nas does not beat the Shador Sander. It's not going to happen. There he goes.
So that team gets a lot
That's-
stronger. Would everybody agree? That team looks real strong now.
That team is
I-
a juggernaut. They're pure infantry at this point across the board, and they have, I mean, their 3rd through 5th infantry beat everybody else's 1 through 3 infantry in this case.
I bet
So-
Eric
so I
was real
agree.
happy about those picks before.
So I would agree they're
Yes.
pure infantry on paper, but Revenge's engineer is very good, and Waylander's medic is excellent too. So they have versatility too. They have
True.
4 really good infantries. Eric is solid, and they have some versatility. They've made a heist so far.
What do we?
Soup, yet another Green Beret to DB. Solid pick here. Good fighter.
Okay. Okay. So
I mean, DP's drafting perfectly right now with Ball, and then what he had, Dilatory and Soup. Like he's
Yeah.
doing.
So are
good.
they making up that skill gap you guys were talking about?
For sure, 100%. There's some
Yeah, I think
mistakes
so.
already.
I think there were some concerns that DP would draft his friends because DP's friendly guy, loves playing with his people. But he's managed to draft 3 of his friends who he's played with at positions where their skill fits well. So they're doing a great job so far.
I've definitely
He
played
has
with
not
Dilla.
reached for anyone.
No,
Agreed.
no.
All right, waiting on number 15 here. Worth to pick. 40 seconds remaining in this one.
So I think now we're into people that we haven't spoken about a lot. Jackie is a name that could come up. Mixum, I believe, is mentioned once before.
Colossal.
Is a really good fighter here.
Colossal picked up by Worth. So he leaves the
Cross-zone
co-captain
champion.
spot, enters the draft, and gets picked up here.
Yeah, it's a great pick. He's a cross zone champion. He's a good fighter.
I mean, you still have, for guys fishing for imps, you still have mites, and then you have all the part-time guys like Shadow, me, or Jaguars. Probably not a terrible pick if you're desperate for an infantry.
Shadow's attendance note says he's good until July 4th. So it sounds like he's good
Oh,
for
really?
the whole season. He could be a good
Oh
pick
shit!
here.
We'll see him go within the next round or so. You've also got Mixum available. I think someone said Jackie. Verb.
Yeah, I think Jackie and Shadow are the premier fighters available right now. Verb and Mixum for supports, and then Chucky is the wild card at JT too. Though again, I don't know what Chucky's availability is looking like.
Mountain with about 50 seconds
I
remaining
expect
in
to
this
see
pick.
Verb and Mixum go here in this next round. I'd be really surprised if they don't. Mountain's on the clock.
You got Scarface and Ghost Bomber. Picks up Chucky.
There we go.
Chuck, okay.
So this is a new win condition for Mountain's team. Maybe if they're thinking they can't straight up fight some of the other teams like Eric's, there you go. You have a new type of win condition that has to be countered in a different way.
I think that's a great pick for them. Tactical is going to be D heavy, so they'll always be at heavy bases. They are fine with long games. They can swing home when they need. And Chuck on offense, whether as heavy or JT, really good value here if he's active. And they have great fighters, so they're.
I mean,
they're
Chucky
doing
at
great.
D6, like D6 is a hard base to crack right now, especially with the aggressive engineers. And Chucky, like that's his bread and butter, flagging that base. So
Yeah, that's how it works with Chucky, right? Like it can look terrible, and then
until he wins, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That's just JT.
And he causes disruption. He distracts.
There's
Yeah,
the
I
Shadow.
There's
A
Shadow.
good value pick here.
At 17, I'll take Shadow all day.
And Ziamin likes Shadow too. I mean, they've played together multiple times, I believe.
Shadow's gonna get at least like 8 mind lane kills a game. So.
Oh yeah.
Galaxy's got back-to-back picks here. They were a little bit surprising to us with their first and second round picks. So I don't really know.
These are really important picks.
What role does Shadow play?
He's
again?
already got an engineer.
He plays
Shadow's
the
a DM.
infantry. And he's
See, I think
renowned for mines, which is funny because he's on Ziamin's team, who also mines a lot. So
yeah.
they're going to have CT running out, distracting people while Ziamin and Shad drop a bunch of mines.
I think these are really important picks for Galaxy, and I think they probably shouldn't have taken an engineer yet because they could have had, I think, any engineer. They could have had Tony or Verb right now, no problem. So that number 6 pick is looking like a miss.
I think Tony's going to be an SL rather than an engineer, but I'm not sure. Could play both.
You've got Jackie, Verb, Mixum all available.
Oh,
You
there
have
we go. So yeah, that
They're both-
answers the
they're both
question.
Verb.
Tony will be playing SL, and he's got Verb.
Okay, and Galaxy does get one more pick here.
If Galaxy doesn't take Jackie here, I think Jackie definitely goes to ZMN and RR next. They have a lot of experience playing with him. As long as he's active, he's great value for any team that drafts him right now.
Yeah, I think
Jackie-
Jackie's limited playtime, I think he said after 10 p.m. is what he said.
Yep, that's what I see too. And the other thing though, Jackie can play med and engineer solid well, even heavy, so a lot of flexibility, and he's a good talker.
Yeah, when I first kind of came back to CTF, Jackie was very active at that point. And I played a
Last
lot with him.
Spark.
You know, Galaxy's had a few picks like this where I think maybe he knows some of these guys and has been talking with them. Maybe even brought them back to the game. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know
like
about that
said,
pick.
I think their draft board's definitely the most at odds with what the three of us think. Blast Spark, an old vet, believe plays mostly O and D inf. I don't think he's quite on the skill level of the guys drafted around him here. But
I just mean, like, if you could have Blast
solid
Spark or
guy.
you could have Mites, I don't know. I don't understand that pick.
If ZMN knows Jackie is active, I think this is Jackie here. Some other guys who I think are coming into play are Mixum, Diz, Jewett.
So maybe ZMN doesn't plan on playing engineer. I guess Mixum
maybe.
can multi-class though.
Yeah, Mixum can med. Mixum's med and SL are both excellent.
He can actually heavy too. I've seen him heavy, but
and Z could go Pat JT too, especially versus 3DM bases.
Actually, Mixum plays every class, but I think engineer's where you want him. It makes me wonder what Z's going to play then.
So I still think Jackie's a good pick. Thiz and Jewett are guys to consider. Might's really good fighting skill if you think you can tame him well.
Yeah, but you could also start looking at guys like our user. Right? Or is he? Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right.
I think we're getting in the range where you probably get taken soon, Phlow. I would expect you this round or next round.
Well, if the captains are listening, I can only make week 3 and 4, and then I can make the championship game. So I'll miss 1, 2, and 5, and I'll miss the semis.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I mean, playoffs are most important, so I still stand by what I said.
You gotta,
next 2 rounds where we're talking, and there goes.
Well, I did have a couple captains say they were going to take me in the second, and I told them not to. So.
Thiz.
So I said that'd be a mistake.
The mountain picks up Thiz.
Thiz super versatile, good on comms, engineer, medic, SL, JT, infantry, can play everything. Abath also great in this range, plays all 3 supports, solid talker, really good attitude. Another solid pick here.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick at all.
It looks like we're getting a run of support flexible guys. We've had 3 in a row, Verb last round. So it seems like teams really embrace the fighters first and then start filling in the support classes after.
All right, DP, you said he's made some good picks to this point. This is a pretty pivotal pick, I would say as well. Care to scroll down there, Phlow? The bottom of that.
Oh, sorry, I'm just on another screen. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
So based on the mock drafts people did, you've got Jackie, Phlow, Mites, Jag, Axe, and Smeagol as the next ADP available.
I think that all makes sense. Smeagol, another one who really solid in his history, but not sure what his activity is. I don't know if you said Jewett, but I think Jewett belongs in this range too. Jim as well. Jim really solid infantry. They already have their medic locked down. I don't know if they have someone to engineer yet. Breakdance is on the board as well as a support person. I'm not sure what his activity level is though. I know he's
his
gone
availability
inactive in the past.
Hey, Phlow, they're asking if you can increase the size of the available player list. Maybe just zoom in like a scroll wheel or something.
Okay,
And yeah, we did
Polaris.
see Abbott get picked.
That?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, Polaris picked here. Polaris almost entirely a DM, plays both claw and
Yep.
shotgun. Really was making
Mhm.
strides on rusting last season. When inactive again, his schedule is sometimes troubling with his career as a pilot. Yeah, his schedule note says his life is busy. So not sure the pick I would have taken here, but if he's active, this is the right skill range for him.
Eric with Rue, aka Fenris or Rosary.
Good to see Rue back. He can play infantry. He can flex into a lot of different stuff too. SL.
So,
medic.
so you're saying that Take Your Beating should be like team infantry?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
no, they're
Rue.
already team infantry for sure. They've got a big advantage over everybody there, and then I think Eric's probably just going to piece by piece fill in whoever he can find. There's some really good value picks, especially SL people like Captain X. A lot of time, I mean, Captain X has I think won several seasons, being as like a 7th or 8th pick or something.
Yeah, Rue plays all 3 supports, and I think the other supports on Eric's team or the other fighters are so strong that they probably want to keep him on support. I think Jewett would be a great pick here as a SL. But Jackie, like I've said,
Jackie.
finally goes.
Very good.
I mean, Jackie, as a fighter in this round, if he's active, it's a steal.
Yeah.
I think Eric's team has definitely had the best draft so far.
So who right now? Is there anybody on the list that you are shocked is still in the draft at this moment?
No, Jackie was the only name for me that I felt
Okay.
was falling.
And
There's
was he a first
inactivity
round
concern.
pick? You think in your mind, or is he or second or
No,
third?
I think if Jackie's active, I would put him around where Shadow went. So
Okay.
he maybe went 1 round later than me. But again, I don't know what his activity level is going to be, and teams may want someone that they know is more reliable that they've seen around for months. There goes Andro. Andro, a solid O&D imp. Really chatty on Discord ever since he got a microphone. Great attitude. I think he fits in this round. He's similar to guys like Jewett and Phlow in fighting ability. So that's a solid pick for GP there.
Okay.
Pardon me? What the fuck?
That's not an insult, man. Andro's good.
Shit on Andro, but it's okay.
You'll have your chance to prove it this season in weeks 3, 4 in the playoffs.
Let's not log on much, Joe.
I haven't been super active lately, so my opinions are like a month or 2 outdated, perhaps. And there goes Phlow.
Yeah, he was best available from the pre-draft mocks as well. And following that same pattern, the next people will be Mites, Jag, Axe, Smeagol. Rocky's on the list, but I'm not sure what his availability is either.
I think Rocky was removed actually.
Okay.
Because Andro was added. He's actually not even on my draft list.
Beso?
Beso a bit surprising. Longtime CTF vet. Former admin, hasn't been super active lately. I believe he mostly plays supports.
Oh my god, we're flying
Vince,
here. Sorry.
Jewett to ZMN. Jewett was on the squad with me and ZMN last year. I've almost always in Jewett's corner advocating for him. Very underrated infantry, in my opinion. Great SL, good talker, great attitude. I think he's a great pick here. I would have taken him probably a round earlier personally. I think ZMN's team is doing a pretty solid job in the draft as well.
So who do you guys, Chompy and Joe particularly, who do you guys say right now is the most like overpicked? Like probably should have waited for that one.
It's Galaxy's team for sure. But I
Yep.
mean, I think there's a method to his madness because I think I don't recognize these names as much. So, like I said, I think he's got a connection to some of them, and
Okay.
maybe they'll unrust quickly and work well together.
Okay.
Breaking news: Jackie just signed on, and in all caps, which is the only way he talks, said, "Oh shit, I got drafted. Too bad, can't make any games." Jackie, however, a noted troll, so not sure I believe him. But hopefully he's there for his team.
I'll go
And
ahead and
hopefully he's
say,
telling the truth because he's on Eric's team and they need a nerf.
yeah, Eric does not play like that. I'd be willing to bet that every single person Eric has drafted, he contacted ahead of time or made sure they had some knowledge of.
I'm curious to see what Galaxy does here because he's surprised us pretty much every round.
To the
Yeah,
point
he gets
about Eric,
feedback.
Jackie and Revenge are good friends. I would be shocked if Revenge didn't talk to Jackie
Yeah.
beforehand. So yeah, but if any team could survive a no-show, it's Eric's at this point.
So Galaxy gets 2 picks back to back. Here's the first one,
Mites.
Mites.
Whoa, so
Mites?
Galaxy, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure Galaxy had a no-fly list last season that he wouldn't play with certain players, and Mites was on it. So it's interesting to see this development. Mites
Burying
did
a
a really good
hatchet.
job. Yeah, Mites did a really good job for our squad last season. Great fighter. He does need a little more support in his corner than other players. He can be temperamental at times.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Um, but he's a very good fighter. And when you're on the same page with him and he thinks you're in his corner, you guys have mutual respect. He can be a really solid asset, especially this late in the draft.
He said, if ZMN could take Cara Tank, I could take Mites. And that's what happened.
And he's got Yosh and Galaxy, who are both very level-headed, fun people to hang around with. I think it'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
agreed.
Mite's fighting ability is much better than many of the imps picked before him. So I think that's
Yeah,
a
agree
great
with
pick
that.
for Galaxy.
Yep. I mean, if you need to make up ground in that area, you take risks like that, right? Though in this case, like I said, I don't think it's a risk. It's just value.
So you can have
Scrolling
Mites
through-
and Galaxy together on defense. That's not an easy base to push.
Scrolling through my list, I think I would have Jim as maybe the highest guy on my board right now. Really solid O&D imp. If he's active and the time zones work, he could be really valuable for any team right here. And
Well, you've
Captain
got-
Axe, who Chompy mentioned earlier, is a really solid SL option too.
Yeah, Axe. You've got Posty. You've got Breakdance. I mean, there's a lot of like supports that are going to define your team in these next round or two.
Yeah, we saw Posty come over to USL. That guy can aim.
Oh, and there goes Splitta. So Splitta, I think, first played
Yeah,
CTF like a
damn.
week ago. He's been taken to a lot of
Splitta.
people's coaching. I've heard good things about his fighting.
He's a
I
so-
think this pick makes sense here.
He's a smart player. He can lead. He's got pretty decent aim. Good dot. He's just a very above average all around player in USL. And he has some great field vision. So I imagine he does the same thing here.
I can almost guarantee you that Split was on every captain's list, and there was a little bit of a game of chicken going to see who could get the value pick for him. I like him here. He's going to listen to the calls every time. He's going to get better every day. Yeah, it's a great pick.
Yeah, agreed. And I think he has a lot of experience talking in USL too. So as he gets more comfortable, he may be able to contribute on comms a little bit too. Posty goes to ZMN after they took Mixum, so they've got two supports. ZMN could be playing Infantry this season or Pack JT.
Yeah.
Again, I think ZMN's doing a good job in the draft. Good value pick here, and they have great flexibility.
One person I question is SSJ Cloud, because if he's active again, he's pretty stout DMF, and he hopped in with us. Was that 2 seasons ago? And it looked like he hadn't really lost a step after about 3 or 4 OVDs. He was kind of back to form. So curious to see if he goes.
I still stand by Jim as the best player on my board. One player I'll shout out we haven't mentioned, Jaguar. Jaguar made huge strides at DMF last season, playing with Wolven and Albert. Listening to them and Desi, he learned a lot. He's super active, one of the best attitudes in CTF. He would be a great pick for any team here too. He's not the Jaguar that you knew 4 or 5 months ago. He's a much better player now.
So just to ask you guys, in terms of where you power rank these squads ahead of time, who do you think right now in the 32nd pick, who do you think has done the best job of increasing their power ranking potential?
Well, Eric has gone from 1 to like clearly 1. Like I think they maybe put another tier between them. I would guess though, I don't have everyone's lineup in front of me, but just remembering anecdotally, I think CMN's maybe had the most solid draft. CT's a bit of a wild card, but their other picks have been really good.
I'd say DP. As far as talking about like a rising, strength level compared to where you started, I think it's DP. I think he's picked very well every time.
But I think Polaris and Andro. I mean, you could have had Jaguar and Mites. Like I don't know. In my opinion, I think the last couple picks for DP, I would have went with different imps, but maybe it's just a matter of opinion.
But I think the idea is take sure bets for DP. Do you think taking a guy like Andro or Polaris is a better idea over Mites if you were looking for consistency?
I mean, I would have taken Jaguar probably. I actually didn't realize until you mentioned it that he was still on the board. Super active, been putting up numbers. I mean, he has some bad games and he gets ran over sometimes, but I mean, he's improved a lot.
Mountain just took Havoc, and Worth took Mercy.
This isn't too
Back-to-back
surprising.
USLers.
We had talked a lot about these like Split, Havoc, and Mercy. You know, when we were discussing USL rounds, these guys all kind of went in the same area.
Yeah,
So
Bax
no
too. I'd
surprise
say
seeing them
Bax
here.
is probably somewhere
Mhm.
around there, maybe.
I still think Axe is a crazy. I don't know who doesn't have an SL. It's hard to see
Molo.
completed teams right now.
Oh, Captain Axe is still on the board. That's wild.
Yeah.
I was
DP
just gonna say Molo, I think, is a good sleeper year. Molo's was a phenomenal SL back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Great communicator. So if he's gonna be active, great pick here. Eric with another really good draft pick. I
Yeah,
think they
incredible.
stole me and Chompy's draft board. They're doing a really good job. Great solid SL at this point.
We'll see who he picks next. He gets another pick. I think these
That's
are maybe
wild.
your 8th, 9th, and 10th roster slots we're drafting right now. So this is where, you know, these are all starters still, right? So they're very important picks.
Yeah, Jim, Jaguar, Cal, Breakdance, Trouble, aka Mystic Gohan, is a really solid O heavy who made great strides last season. I think we're in the range where he could be a good pick.
Okay, so what do you guys think? Is Bax going in this round?
The
I can
7th
see it.
round.
I'd say it's like 50-50. This is the right range.
I mean, you can see guys like Vin go around now. I think he's a functional inf.
Yep, Vin's in the mix here too. Attempt, aka and one. New York Mike Jones.
Oh yeah,
Thugs,
Attempt,
aka
multi-classer.
1992. A lot of
Attempt's got some
solid,
value.
a lot of solid imps right now that I think can fill out your 6th or 7th fighter, the 9th or 10th starter. Makes sense for teams here. So I think that's what we're going to
Vin
be seeing.
is recently in Infantry ESPN news for being yelled at by our user. I doubt that he'll be picked by ours team.
Only
So
20 seconds
Jaguar's
left.
still on the board.
He's thinking about it. He's probably talking to the team.
Jaguar.
There we go. I was
Eric.
gonna say that's yeah, good pick.
Yeah, I mean this is a great.
And Eric's
pick.
team, Eric's team is fucking stacked. He's done well in the draft too. He's picked all the right people. Everybody let people slip through the cracks to them. Like there's people I would have picked just so Eric didn't get them. Honestly.
Well, you look at some of the last guys picked, and like, well, I know it's great to take a shot on the USLers, guys like One, Mercy, Splitta. Jag's been around CTF for a while, and like I said, he's already been making those strides lately. So
he's probably just thrilled though.
You could argue Jag is a steal here. Like I would go that far.
Huge steal. Huge.
So I just counted, and that was Eric's 10th pick. So that's his 10th starter, and we'll see him. That may be his 9th starter with Jackie. But so this round right here, this is the last starter for each team.
Okay, good point. We're getting to the point where Jim's fall is getting a little surprising. I don't know if it's time zone stuff.
Well, Jim, the problem with Jim is he hasn't been on and hasn't OVD'd and mixed in a really long time.
He tried to OVD last night, and RR wouldn't unspec him, and things happened after that.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that one.
Yeah, good call.
Phony.
Oh, Phony is a long-time CTF bet as well. I'm not sure if he played CTF or USL first, but I believe he was on Dark Slayers season 1, 2, 3 range. I know he's long been USL since then, but I'm pretty sure he has some experience here, and could be another guy to unrust and make the jump back.
Phony's probably one of the oldest players in the game.
Like oldest experience or oldest age?
Like no. I mean, I remember I was playing in 1998, and Phony was playing with me. I think in 98 or 99.
Yeah, I don't know if X5 or Tyrael are around to correct me, but I believe Phony was on Dark Slayers back in the early SOE era.
We've got Head as the final starter spot for Mecha's team and Worth's team.
So now I'd be trying to pull multi-classers off the board, like in and Attempt and stuff like that. People that can fill slots when you need them.
I've been correct.
The roster size is 16, right?
Yeah, Phony.
Hey, what about Sergeant Ketchup in this area?
Oh, Sergeant Ketchup would be great here. Sergeant Ketchup is one of the best infills in the pool. Really came on as O heavy last season. I think he would actually be a great pick here. Great call out.
You know, and I think it is time for Jim to go soon. I mean, you know, we're a little more forgiving of lag over in CTF, and so he gets that innate little lag armor.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful.
He doesn't even
I would
lag
say,
that bad compared to like people who, like there's tons of guys from overseas
It's
I've played
just his
with that were
strafe.
worse.
Like when you're fighting him in a base with lots of stuff going on, his strafe is a little quick, but we never spec him usually in
Did you guys
CTF.
play with
It has to be
Axel
pretty good.
ever? Holy hell, man.
I did not.
Axel was all over the place.
I don't think we shouted out Head. I want to make sure we get in at least some comment about everyone. Head, a solid pack JT, heavy, can even play some supports, great attitude. So I think he's a solid pick there. Keezer is another overseas guy from Europe, I believe. Also has some lag armor like Jim. I would rank Jim a little bit higher, but I think Keezer is a solid pick here as well if his
He's just a good pick.
availability is good. He says in the spreadsheet he will be available for all matches. So this could be a pretty good sleeper pick here. He plays
I've
Inf
got an
and heavy.
I've got an anonymous source that's saying that Jag was a very intentional pick here, was on their board as a priority, and they have a lot of faith in him. They
They
think he
should.
may be a difference maker.
I mean, I've been seeing Jag play like some people haven't been online a lot lately, but like I've been there watching, and I always pay attention to who's doing what. And Jaguar has been performing at a fairly high level. So
One name I'll shout out as another potential sleeper, and me and him have butted heads in the past. He's not always been my favorite person, but he's a great player in all zones. And if you get him zoned in, Oct I think could be an interesting imp heavy pick here. He played lots of CTFX back in the day, some CTF. He has some skills. If you're on the same page with him personality wise, he could contribute as your 11th or 12th man.
So this is going to be, we've got ZMN and we've got Galaxy. They're picking the last starters for their team. I was about to say Cal is a great one. You've got an
Cal?
Infantry or SL. Yep.
Yeah, Cal's outstanding here. RR has been DMing me to stop talking about Cal because we're ruining his draft board. So
Well,
glad for
So he
RR
gets
and
his
DMN.
man.
They got their guy. Sorry for Cal that you're going to be playing with RR. And Cal has won
Okay.
2 of the 3
there's Ketchup.
CTFDL champions so far. Ketchup,
Yeah, so
outstanding pick here. Galaxy finally on the same page as our draft board.
and this is pretty good. So Galaxy, this is, you know, this or the next pick will be Galaxy's 10th starter, and you have Ketchup that can play heavy or run the infill, and infill is super strong, especially if you're going to be doing the bullshit where you swap it between offense and defense and try to clear the SL. I mean, it can be very strong. You can force the offensive swing basically at will.
Ketchup is a real X factor on 10-man O, and even 10-man D. His info is really solid too. Like if you lose, he can solo keep you back in the game. Like he's a really good player there, and it shouldn't be underrated, especially because his O heavy is so good.
So it sounds like Keck and Galaxy are taking a lot of chances. I mean, with the Mercy or the Mites pick early, and then that one, like they're going to be taking a lot of chances for some wins.
You know, it's hard to say. They've just got a few older players coming back, so you know it's maybe
Well,
high risk, high reward.
Also, Splitta, currently unproven to a certain degree. It sounds like, each of these guys might really pan out. You just don't know exactly what you're getting when you buy the box.
Yep.
A quick question. I don't see him on my draft board. Is Infinite signed up?
oh,
Oh, he signed up 20 other people, but he couldn't
Yep.
sign up himself? That's
you
unfortunate.
did, yeah.
So here's a few people still available. We've got Jim. We've got, of course, Bax. We've got Breakdance. We've got Vin. We've got
Dex.
Adept. And we've got you've got like Stoink down there.
Yep, Stoink's solid too. I would throw in Trouble, aka Mystic Gohan. I'd expect
Mike
him to go
Jones
soon.
as a backup infantry.
1992, still there,
Yep.
isn't he?
Oh, Trouble to Galaxy. So RR has been DMing me about 2 players to stop talking about, Cal and Mystic Gohan. He got Cal, he didn't get Mystic Gohan.
I didn't know Trouble was Mystic Gohan. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's gonna be mad about that because he is next pick, and it just got sniped.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's probably going to be blowing up my DM soon. Sorry, not sorry. Trouble made excellent strides as O Heavy last season, and he started doing it in OBDL prior to that. He's a really good pick here. Liking Galaxy's draft picks more in the later rounds. I think they're solidifying their depth for sure.
Give us some hot takes to read in chat. Anybody? Community engagement.
Let's ignore Ox posts. Anybody else?
Bax is asking to be drafted.
I mean, Bax has a very good case to be drafted here. His RPG aim is on point. His positioning is improving. I'm seeing him switching between heavy, LMG, AC at the right times. He's really putting in the work. You can never deny the guy's hard work.
So
And
we've
he's
got
improved a lot.
Meep for ZMN. Now Meep was on my last draft league team and did not show for a single match. So maybe ZMN's got inside information, but for when we picked him as a starter, it cost us.
So Meep is a longtime Pure Talent alumni, and this is Pure Talent Reborn or whatever. So I think ZMN has a lot of trust in him. I think Meep has not been really super active in any of the draft leagues he's played, so there's some risk here. But great pack JT and medic in his history, so he could revive that.
Mountain goes with his USL brother, his previous teammate on cocaine, the number 2 place squad that almost lost to MDR, the CTFers. Pister.
So ZMN just wrote to me. Meep has been on every single version of PT since season 8. So I guess he doesn't want to risk losing him. And he could be a solid med in JT if he comes back to activity.
Yep, that's his 11th pick. They've got a heavy if they need him.
Thugs 1992, solid fighter, a little raw, but has also been improving. Makes sense in this round. Could be a good contributor, Steph.
Yeah, just fine. I mean, a good fighter for this round, right? A good fighter, a good value here.
Yeah, and he's really active.
Two guys I'll mention we haven't said in a while. Smeagol and Og are both guys who have excelled as fighters in the SOE era. Haven't been super active lately. But if you have word that they're going to be around, they could be interesting. And SFJ Cloud, who Phlow mentioned earlier, is also in that bucket.
Stoink to DP.
DP picks Stoink. My Nexus brothers, right, Rom? Our
Absolutely.
Not trying to cut in, but Smeagol says do not draft. There's a couple players on this list that say that.
Okay, so Smeagol's off the board probably.
So Smeagol's
not
one
surprising.
Of the ones ZMN signed up.
I didn't even think Smeagol was real, to be honest.
And I think Rocky is probably the same way, right? That's why he's still now. Is Jim still not been picked?
That's correct.
Okay, and let's see where Axidus went. Axidus went to Worth's team.
So he's probably not going there.
He's probably not going there, but yeah, I mean, Jim's a great pick here.
Great dance to Eric.
Break's a good pick here if he's active, solid support. I'm expecting them to take Jim here unless there's a USLer they really want. Eric and Mecca have just been going for value. Oh, and there goes Bax. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bax lottery is complete. Bax joins the most stacked infantry squad.
Fuck, man. Eric is drafted so good and he's started.
Does Bax get his second CTF ring? I'll never hear the end of it.
Bax is solid value here. One thing I will mention, Bax was on Mecha's team Pizza Rats in DL Season 2, and Mecha started the streak of Bax not playing. So Mecha has a chance to redeem himself and redeem me, Dilatory, and Smoka for not playing him next season. So we're all believing in you, Mecha. Do right by Bax this time, please.
You mean Eric?
Oh, wait. Yeah, Mecha's not on. Jesus, I'm an idiot. Just ignore. Cut that from the video.
Fausto by DP. That's got to be a good pick for DP, right? Fausto is. How could he be bad?
You know, I have never seen him play a single match in CTF, but you know, I think he has played before. And I mean, I put him in the split ballpark where, of course, he's not going to cause problems. He's going to be fun to hang out with. He's going to get better every day. He's going to listen to the leader.
So Fausto hasn't played CTF recently, but Fausto is a Season 8 championship in CTF in the SOE era on Smurfs. I don't know what class he played back in the day, but there's something there. So yeah, we could see something. Hopefully he surprises.
I mean, as a
Take
12th
it easy.
round pick, you've got a previous champion. I mean, doesn't get much better than that, right? If he returns to form. We've still got Vin available.
I think you're frozen again, Phlow. Just a heads up.
So ZMN has informed me that Smeagol has requested to be pulled. So no team should draft Smeagol. He is not
There we go.
going
Mike
to be
Mike
participating.
Jones to Worth takes Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
Solid pick here. Good fighter.
Yep.
He
And he
does
plays a
have some
lot. He's
time-
a fun guy. He's a positive guy. He won't. I mean,
He has some time
Again, you want
issues
any problems
though.
with him.
He works nights, so he can only play early games, which might be an issue here and was for him in the past. But hopefully he's able to get some early games scheduled and get some time in.
we've got Jim still available.
Jim and Vin being
Who else we got?
top 50 is kind of crazy to me, but
There's a lot of US sellers kind of that we're probably going to start seeing going here. And I am actually seeing that Half Cut has joined the league. So will he be, who will take him in the end?
So one name who started USL just this past season, he only came over from Pub about a month ago, who I've also heard has been showing little flashes in CTF, is Llama in a Zoo. So I think he's a potential sleeper in this area. Seems like he has a good attitude. I know Bax has taken him under his wing, and he's really taken to both zones, it looks like. So he could be an interesting pick soon.
What do you think about Hop?
I haven't seen him play CTF yet, so I can't really say. I like Hop. I'd pick him just
Yeah, he's a smart
personality-wise.
player in USL. If USL is a good determinant of if you're going to be good at anything else. And one
So getting
taken by
an
Mountain.
attempt at 52, just having that ability to have that multi-classer at 52, that's wild.
Yeah,
A
we
lot of
said
these
maybe-
like USLers that are being picked, like they can only really play one or two classes, usually just one. So
What are you playing, Rom? I think maybe Rom's up here soon.
I'm gonna have to be taught
were
how to
talking
play
about that
a
today.
class.
he's gonna start with spec info, and then
Flo gets a real kick out. There goes Jim right there to ZMN.
There we go. That's a great pick.
Flo
It's
gets a real
value.
kick out of it that I didn't know what OVD meant until this afternoon. I'm gonna be honest that I still don't know that I know what it means.
Great pick by ZMN here. Like I said earlier, I think besides Eric, they probably had the second best draft based on my rankings of players. Really good value here. I think Attempt was a solid pick last round too. OINF, DINF, SL. Yeah, good contributor for depth at this point. Though he doesn't love playing SL, so if they ask him to do that, they may run into some issues, but hopefully they're able to come to good understanding. Vin, I
There
think,
goes
is a
Hop.
solid player available.
I think
I think Jim would play SL in matches. Like he just doesn't want to do it every OVD.
Oh, I meant Attempt, but the same thing applies for Jim. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
both ODMs who also play SL and hate playing SL.
Yeah, we got Hop and Cloud here. Two, we got high upside picks.
Oh, Cloud at 55, that's wild, man. To me.
He wrote for his availability TBD, so not sure what that
okay,
means.
Yeah. But I mean that was a problem for him before too.
I think Vin is probably the most talented fighter on the board right now. His game is a little reckless at times, but he's active and communicative. So if you think you can rein him in, he's solid depth as a fighter at this point.
Yep. You've also got Game Freak. As far
Game
as people
Freak's
that
on
have
the
played
board.
some CTF.
Yeah, Game Freak's solid O&D heavy, and another guy, great attitude. Anytime I've spoken with the guy, he just like exudes positivity. If you want some locker room presence at this point, I think you could definitely do a lot worse.
And
And
we're about
Solo
50% US sellers left at this point. So we're about to get into the US sellers. You got Ice, Apollo, LT, Big Bird,
Tyrael, close your ears for this next
Mike
part. But I'll
C.
reiterate again, I think Oct is a solid talent level at this point, especially as someone with past CTFX experience.
Oct is a really good person, especially with like heavy weapons classes. But of that list you just said, Apollo is a smart player, and I imagine if he'll take to this game if he hasn't played it.
I wouldn't say Oct is a good person. I'd say he's a good player. I just want to clarify what you just said.
Well, yeah, I was switching about talk about Apollo. I think he's good. I think Oct is good at heavy weapons, and his aim is pretty solid. He plays Ripper
Oh man,
sometimes in USL. He's a really good Ripper, actually.
it looks like me and Tyrael's friendship is going to be on the rocks again. I'm not familiar with Scobra. I've seen the name. I've seen him in arenas. I've never watched him play. I don't know what he plays. So, unfortunately, we're getting to the point where there's a few guys where I just am not going to have great insight on. Hopefully, someone in chat can say
I don't know.
something
I
we
don't
can
know anything
share.
about him either.
Even
Yeah, man
RR
does.
doesn't know who he is, and RR plays every mix in OVD every day. So
Uh-oh.
I'm guessing he's a
Hopefully
tough
not
target.
a ray gun situation.
Oh boy.
Vin, Mountain.
That's a good pick for Mountain.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good
very,
value here.
very, very good value at this point.
Like Vin got underdrafted, I think.
Well, he may have gone the previous pick or 3 picks before that, but again, R's got a vendetta against him.
Speaking of the past Raygun situation, one of the people that everyone said Raygun was Tempest, who is an old support player, mostly squad leader. He is signed up on the draft board presently and is still available. If he's available, he's an excellent depth pick to support here. And there goes Llama in a zoo. I think this is a solid sleeper pick here. I hope this is someone that takes to the zone well and sticks around. Because, like I said, seems like a good attitude, good learning curve, and I've heard he's been making flashes already.
Yeah, he talks too, and he's a fun guy to hang out with. He plays in some of the late night USL
Yeah,
scrims and 3v3s and stuff
he's
like that.
definitely a fun teammate. I enjoyed being on a team with him this season for sure.
Okay, another note in from Commissioner's ZMN. Tempest has requested to be pulled due to inactivity. So he is another one, like Smeagol. Don't draft him, captains.
Okay.
What about Britney Spears? I've seen him around some OVDs. Was active for a while. Solo Camo, heavy. Solo and Game Freak. I always get those two mixed up. I can't.
They're
Yeah, I
solid
like Game
OND
Freak.
heavies.
I like Game Freak here.
I've now got Tyrael DMing me saying that ZMN won't let him and X5 join. Probably take that one with a grain of salt, though.
There's a lot of time for that.
Well, there's been a lot of persecution against H4 in the past, so it's very believable.
H4 is actually like the doorway's gone. It's just can't even get into it anymore.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I stepped down as dev, and they immediately closed X4. Darkslayers never realized I was their closest ally all along.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that base. I don't know why it's closed off. I don't really agree with that, but
Unbowed, unbent, unbroken.
True Rider. He just came
I
back
love
like 2
it.
days ago.
Dornish Resistance.
I am unfamiliar with True Rider. I know he's friends with Kev, aka Demote, which isn't a great point in his favor. I tried asking about him the other day and couldn't get any real non-troll responses. So I don't know. I don't know what his background is. If he's someone with potential.
I know that when he was in an OVD last, was it 2 nights ago? He was buying all his ammo individually. Then he died.
Okay, that's not a great sign, but it is a hard zone to pick up at first, so we'll cut him a little slack. Hurtbull said he's really bad at StarCraft. I don't know if that translates much. Not the best scouting reports at this point in the draft. Sorry to the listeners.
A few more names on the list. We've got LT is available. Game Freak, that's the best available pick. I'm sure, skill wise. You've also got Lofi. We'll see who picks up Lofi. We've got Melantho in case anybody needs to be flown out to Los Angeles or spend $500 a night on dual bets. Melantho is available.
Yeah, he's always got key bumps ready.
I'm gonna take a pass on commenting on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
We've
agree.
also got Doris Burke available. Oh, Brittany's. Yeah, so there goes Brittany for Eric.
I like Brittany's definitely around here for sure.
Yeah,
I wonder if Eric's getting advice here, or if he knows these guys, because he is these later rounds for Eric are
Look
good
who's in
value
Eric's
across the
tier
board.
right now. Like some of the best players in the game. So
yeah.
So
Tempest
okay, there
to
goes
DP.
Tempest to DP. I think this is a great pick if he's available. I'm not sure if he is.
Didn't he just say he's not available? Like, didn't we just get that announcement?
Yeah, sorry. It's getting late for me.
Well, it's been picked.
Yeah, Tempest is not available. ZMN said don't draft him. So
yeah, I think at this point in the draft, it should go down to 1-minute picks, in my opinion.
Maybe an intentional pick, so he doesn't have to worry about playing this player. There's strategy involved in these late rounds.
It's a throw
So you
off.
don't end up with a backs situation from the previous season.
I know teams have done that in the past, so it wouldn't shock me, but it would shock me a little bit from DP.
Egg.
Og and Worth, I think, are guys who have played together in the past before. Both guys who are coming back from inactivity. If Og is active, he's really good depth here. He was active in the early free infantry days once Steam
He's a really good dealer
relaunched.
too.
Can he be an adult and
great-
put an
great
R in
dealer.
there though? I want to say ARG so much more.
Yeah, agreed.
I always said egg. So
I think
You
Oct
could
is a
be
great
right.
pick in this round in this area.
Tyrael, close
Oct,
your ears again.
Apollo.
But yeah, I agree. I mean,
this
Oct
point,
has so much CTFX experience. Like, he has a more natural transition to the zone than other.
See, at this point in the
skirmishers.
draft, I would just look at the USLers and see how good they are in USL and just hope that skill level's transferable, honestly.
Yeah, Apollo, exactly what you just said. Mountain takes Apollo, and I think he's hoping that exact thing. Apollo probably was the best of the USL players on that list that you mentioned.
I've got an anonymous source yelling at me for mentioning one of the players I just mentioned, so I won't say which one.
It's Tyrael yelling at you about Oct. Spoiler alert.
There he goes to ZMN.
There we go.
Yep. His ears were burning, and ZMN caught him.
So I would say ZMN, as I mentioned earlier, always sees the best in anyone. Of anyone in this league who's good at managing somewhat prickly personalities, it's ZMN. So if a team can get something out of Oct, I think it will be this team. And again, I think ZMN's team is doing a great job with their draft.
I didn't mind being on a team with Oct at all. I'll be honest; he really wasn't a bad teammate to me ever, at any point.
I think he's like Cara Tank, that he leans a little too hard into the K-pop pro wrestling stuff sometimes. But if you get him zoned in, like, he has skill in the game.
He does
like,
have skill.
Undeniable.
He absolutely does.
All right, we got Rom. We got.
I should go
Mike
dead
C.
last. I should absolutely go dead
LT.
last.
I think of players with CTF background, solo camo is probably the most established, who has played in a lot of mixes and even some draft league games before in the past. A name from the past that is on the board is Skunky. I believe he was also on Smurfs back in the day. Not super familiar with the classes he played, but he's a name that I recognize. I'm not sure what his activity will be, but if he comes back, he could be a solid depth contributor too.
I think we should, whoever the bottom 3 power rank squads are, we should take Chompy, X5, and Tyrael and disperse them evenly amongst the bottom 3.
Well, I wonder if this draft is going to show all the teams after. So,
That'd be nice. I mean, I'll tell you who's number 1 in power rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to beat them at this point.
It seems like
some serious.
You
would
guys
need like a lot of attendance issues for them to lose a game.
All right, Big Bird goes to Galaxy. I think Big Bird and Yosha played together before. I know they know each other well.
Yeah.
Big Bird is a big talker on comms.
He's a leader. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has some skill in the game too. He's designed maps, so he's probably pretty cerebral. It could be a good depth pick here.
He's a pretty good shooter too. He's a good fighter. Typically does a good job of pushing with the team, even when he's not leading and falling appropriately. So.
Okay, so you can filter by team. I'm being told by Scarface MVP, not just on the draft mat or on the dual mat, but also here. See where it says selected players? Go down, down, down. Go to the right side of that. First expand that.
Go back to what you just minimized.
Yeah.
Nope.
What you just minimized.
The selected players button.
Select players.
Oh, sorry.
Now go straight right of that. See where it says completed draft? You can filter by team right there.
There's a little drop down tab. It says complete draft. No. You're leaving
up,
it.
Up.
Above the big blue block, above where it says DMN Galaxy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No.
Nope.
Oh, actually,
that's cool.
Well,
yeah,
this works too.
Yeah, this does work.
This is really cool.
I wish we had this.
Why are we not doing this the whole time?
Nice.
What an amazing list. Can we scroll down and see what the current pick is, though?
I'll tell you guys, Skunky just went.
Skunky.
To Galaxy's team.
Oh, I can't see who the drafter is, though, because it's not big enough screen.
Well, I can make it smaller. Hold on.
So
It is
Skunky
going to be
played.
ZMN next.
Oh, that's
Skunky
cool.
played
Yeah.
back in the era Trooper played, so it's possible Trooper and Galaxy know him. I hope he comes back. Played on some good squads in the past, so could be a good contributor if he unrusts.
Melantho, there's your.
So ZMN was the person in our draft room last season who was pushing for Melantho to be drafted. Melantho did not last on the squad due to some outbursts and personality conflicts. Hope he has a better time this time, but I'm not optimistic based on my personal experience, and I'll leave it at that.
All right. We got the mountain next. Not many people left. Yeah, I agree with what you said. We
Maybe
should
he
be going to a
takes
minute now.
maybe he takes some guys from USL here. Maybe you go here, Rom.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Mountain.
There you go. Yeah.
Picking my boy picking me up. Thank you.
Maybe he picks up Apollo or Ice
Ooh.
turn.
So I think solo camo's still available. The only guy I regularly see in mixes who hasn't been taken yet. Lofi as well. I know he's been spending a lot of time in the dojo playing Med and SL, so hopefully he's been making some strides. But most of the rest of the guys look like either pub guys or USLers from what I'm seeing.
We're getting some lore here that Melantho is an old school CTFPL player and has even
Yeah, he
trained
is.
people in the chat.
Oh, Melantho was the
Yeah.
captain of Martyr for a long time. Excellent DIMP and Deathboard JT back in the day. But things have happened
that's
since
right.
then.
Ice. DP takes ice.
We've also got the therapist in CT on the same team as Melantho, to maybe a mitigating factor.
Okay, Sadface went to Worth. I'm not familiar with him, but I believe he's a USLer.
Yeah, Iceman.
That's right.
That's fantastic. Yeah. He's
Wait, Iceman and Ice?
Ice is Iceman, same person.
Oh no! Right before that, Sadface went to Worth.
Oh yeah. I don't know Sadface / SK
That's
Master.
septic, I think they're saying.
Oh, Septic. Okay, yeah, I do know septicemia. Okay. He's he's got some serious talent, but you can't get him to focus in a direction pretty much ever.
Chompy, I don't know if you remember this, but quick anecdote: when you were first coming on the CTF scene, a lot of people had suspicions you were a hider troll, and one of the names people threw around the most was that you were Melantho in hiding, which, in retrospect, seems like kind of an insult to you. But I don't think we expected what was going to happen there once the real Melantho, he, she, them, whatever, came back.
An interesting development. I notoriously have lost $300 to backs.
So how do you
duels with Melantho ping?
How do you pronounce that name?
That's
B-
Big Bird, I believe, right?
BTU.
No, BTU, I believe, is a mostly pub infiltrator. Hasn't really taken to organized play as much. But maybe
10
somebody
man?
who can catch on and learn some things. Yeah, 10 man.
LT Lunatic.
There we go. Picking up one of his USL brothers.
Did I
Mike
miss
C
Solo
still
Camo
available?
being drafted, or is he off the?
No, he's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got Doris, we've got Boobs, we got Mike C, we got Half Cut, we got Lofi.
I mean,
Tone
Lofi
it.
and Doris. I feel like Lofi and Doris could easily went by now. Like Lofi's a medic. You might need a medic.
There goes
there goes
Solo on
Solo
the DP's
Camo.
team.
ZMN with some deep lore notes here. BTU was apparently the original founder of the squad Phoenix Down. Phoenix Down
Oh,
had some
interesting.
great
I
players
remember
like
that.
Sav and Iron back in the
Yep.
day.
Mhm.
So maybe he'll embrace more organized play now. And
Solo's not happy with his draft position. I'll tell you what, Solo, use it as fire to drive you. All right, brother?
Yeah, I feel like they did Solo dirty for sure.
Hey, if somebody underdrafts you, that's value for your team. That's perfect. If you're a good player, you want to get drafted as low as possible to be on the best team. All right.
BTU is taking issue to me saying I think he's a pub infill. So my scouting report may be wrong. Sorry about that.
Sabo's claiming victory by being drafted before Smoka.
Huh?
Well, he's a captain, so he's claiming that means he was drafted before Smoka.
Okay.
Good job, Sabo.
Yeah, great job, Sabo.
I mean, victory, right?
Oh,
Declare it.
That's That's USL MVP Sabo. By the way, we should
Yeah.
really give him his full
Put the
title.
respect on that name.
And imagine getting Iron, Jay, and Revenge as your first 3 picks, essentially. That's fucking wild. Followed up by Waylander and Nas. Oh my god. I don't think there should be 2 captains, honestly.
There goes, yeah, Mike C. So
Okay.
Mountain picks up his USL brother, kind of as we expected.
ZMN says Tonit, who was drafted 2 picks ago, is a pub top 100 player from back in the day who really favored
Ooh.
Coil.
I think he only plays RR heavy.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
sure.
that's what Z said.
Hey, but again, like,
unfamiliar with this guy.
you know, the thing about it though is like, sure, take a swing on like an old player. Maybe he'll come back, get really addicted, and become God mode in the next
Yeah.
2 weeks. You know.
It's just he only uses 1 weapon I've ever seen. So
Now you just need to make sure somebody takes him under their wing and kind of shows them some stuff now. Just like us. That's what I would do.
It sounds like he doesn't like doing anything but RR heavy, so it may be a bit of a conflict with teams who want to stick to the meta.
Well, maybe he's just like, you know, a secret weapon. They sub him in at the perfect moment. You know, Mecha, they've got a bunch of strategic minds there.
Everybody's out of reps and he lands the RR and clears the base.
There you go. All of a sudden, yeah, a repped PC insta kills both the engineer and the medic. You clear, and there you go. GG.
Is D-Seuss B or whatever? I've seen him in like a few OBDs and mixes.
Yeah, I've seen him
He
in
has some
OVDs
experience.
playing infantry, but I'm not familiar with anything beyond that, unfortunately. Sorry.
Okay, is this the final pick? It looks like the final pick, even though there is still half cut Doris and Lofi available. I think you go Lofi here.
I've got Osnodon on my draft board too.
Oh,
but I'm
Osnodon as well.
removed.
I would definitely go Lofi.
I mean, I would not. Yeah. I was gonna. Yeah. I would pick Lofi first.
Or CMN says to make an announcement that there are players in the draft pool labeled as "do not pick."
Yeah.
But he needs the captains to pick them so the draft ends.
I think you pick Sabotage again just because of how godlike that man is.
Yeah.
Fair.
I might have to go back to the other board.
How are we supposed to draft them when it says the draft order rounds are over?
Okay, Lofi was taken with the last pick on the board we can see, though I think there's a few players.
There's draft complete right here.
So we don't have enough for another round. So we have 3 left, which is Doris Burke, Half Cut, and Osnodon.
They should just do those. They could just handle those in the captain chat, honestly.
Yeah, so ZMN is saying to have them declare the players in game, but Z, if I can suggest, and you can reply to me in DM, if there's any supplemental players left over, I think the captain's channel on the Discord can fill those out if that works.
It looks like he's saying they want to go ahead and do it right now. So it's going to be Galaxy first pick, ZMN's going to pick one, and then Mountain will be the final pick of the draft here. Well, actually, Mountain will be, it'll be placed on Mountain's team, I guess.
Biggest decision of the draft right here.
All right, CMN is saying there will be supplemental picks from late signups as well.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Maybe more to come on that.
Oh man! So somebody might
Did I
get.
hear late signups? Did I hear late signups?
Drama.
Hopefully, Saab doesn't get slotted on ZMN's team, but
Saab is going to end up on Eric's team. Is what's about to happen.
Oh no, ZMN wouldn't allow that. Not after ZMN left Eric on the side of the road when he made his own squad.
I do hope. Yeah, I'm gonna say it.
All right. Well, do we have anything else that we're going to get any announcements for tonight?
ZMN in pub chat picked Doris Burke. Galaxy picked Osnodon. I guess we're doing the rest of the players. I think Half Cut is available.
Yeah, that would leave Half Cut for Mountain's team. So we'll see. Maybe there's a few more players.
Okay, Z says that's all. So maybe Half Cut.
Okay.
I don't know.
We're ready to close it out.
Rom, thanks for hosting, and Joe.
Well, I got this written. Hold up. That'll conclude our broadcast of the Capture Flag Draft League Season 4 live draft. Games start next weekend, May 18th, 2025, and we invite everybody to come out and watch the games, even if you aren't involved. They can be rather intense to watch. We want to invite you to join the fight by downloading the game on Steam. Just search Free Infantry or visit freeinfantry.com. To find out more about the CTF Draft League and CTF Players League, please visit ctfpl.net. Thanks to my main co-host today, Phlow. Thank you, sir. Thanks to our guest commentators, we had Joe and TheGreatChompy. Thanks to our executive producers, we have ZMN, Revenge, and Military Police. This has been Romulocks, and you've been watching the CTFDL Season 4 live draft. We'll see you all for matches next week.
Rom, did you remember to record?
Yes.